Hyperreality is significant as a paradigm to explain current cultural conditions. Consumerism, because of its reliance on sign exchange value, e.g. brand X shows that one is fashionable, car Y indicates one's wealth, could be seen as a contributing factor in the creation of hyperreality or the hyperreal condition. Hyperreality tricks consciousness into detaching from any real emotional engagement, instead opting for artificial simulation and endless reproductions of fundamentally empty appearance. Essentially, although Baudrillard himself may balk at the use of this word, fulfillment or happiness is found through simulation and imitation of a transient simulacrum of reality, rather than any interaction with any real reality. Interacting in a hyperreal place like a casino gives the subject the impression that one is walking through a fantasy world where everyone is playing along. The decor isn't authentic, everything is a copy, and the whole thing feels like a dream. What isn't a dream, of course, is that the casino takes your money in exchange for chips, which you are more apt to give them. When your consciousness doesn't really understand what's going on. In other words, although you may intellectually understand what happens at a casino, your consciousness thinks that gambling money in the casino is part of the not real world. It is in the interest of the decorators to emphasize that everything is fake, to make the entire experience seem fake. The casino succeeds in turning money itself into an object with no inherent value or inherent reality. As you can see, this theory is a heavy influence on the film The Matrix, and the mention of Lewis Carroll, who wrote Alice in Wonderland, adds to the evidence for this idea. There are also some Kundalini references here to be noted in this movie. The first one is associated with the bug, or tracking device, that the agents have implanted into Neo's stomach and that Trinity extracts through his navel. The navel is associated with the animal instincts symbolized by the lower chakras of the Kundalini. This is a less aware state, and when the bug comes out of him and Neo shouts, "That thing is real?" then that means he is on his way to becoming aware. Later, Neo meets Morpheus and is given a choice of 2 pills, one red, one blue, and when Neo takes the red pill, with his left hand, the camera later has a wonderful scene where the camera goes down his throat. The opening of the throat chakra is the realization of the divine self, and since all the chakras are interrelated, the throat is the fuller manifestation of the sacral, navel region. Neo then enters the womb, literally, because he ends up in a pot of human fluids of which he has been feeding, and the womb is also associated with the sacral or navel area. When Neo gains enlightenment, is freed from being a slave to the Matrix and to the machine world, he has a permanent plug at the back of his head. This plug is parallel with the third eye commonly represented in the front center of the forehead on Hindus, and is the awakened ability to perceive and feel at one with all things. The water in films and literature always represents the unconscious states of the human being. It is the unknown, the area of life that we are always trying to figure out. When Neo's mind is freed, he enters the womb and is born again, and he slides out of his real mother and into a rushing stream of unconsciousness. He is then rescued and taken heavenward by Morpheus, God, and taken aboard the ship, Nebuchadnezzar. The dedication plaque on the ship's core reads Mark III number 11, made in the USA, year 2069. The Bible's Mark 3 verse 11 reads, "And whenever those possessed by evil spirits caught sight of him, they would fall down in front of him shrieking, 'You are the Son of God.'" This is a perfect dedication plaque, because Morpheus is looking for the one, Son of God, or man, who is meant to liberate mankind. Neo, incidentally, is an anagram for one. Thus, the one is Neo, without a doubt, and he is aboard the correct ship. Nebuchadnezzar was a Babylonian king mentioned in the Bible who conquered Jerusalem, among other lands, and is best known for his hanging gardens, which were gardens that appeared to be suspended in space. The Nebuchadnezzar in the Matrix is a hovercraft, mysteriously suspended as well. Neo has to learn to awaken the Christhood in him. This is an ancient mythological idea, and what the Christhood has always been is that of realizing that you and God are one. And what that means is that you think for yourself and act from your center, not someone else's. You become authentic and realize your true power. Not very many Christian religions understand this today, as they have concretized this metaphor and gotten stuck in advancing towards wisdom. At the end of the film, Neo is faced with the agent named Smith, who confronted Trinity in the beginning and scared her, causing her to run. After a terrific battle, Smith shoots Neo, killing him. He then stands over Neo and empties his gun into Neo's chest. Whenever you have a killing of a godlike being awakening to his or her higher nature, there will always be a resurrection. This happens because the tale is never about a physical death and/or resurrection. It is always about the spiritual breakthrough that happens when one realizes the truth of their nature, that death is an illusion of temporality and that we are all eternal beings experiencing a momentary concept of passing time. Thus, we are already dead, and yet, able to live eternally anyways. The death is about you. Have you been reborn to your higher nature? The machine, which is Agent Smith, doesn't understand any of this. He thinks too literally and logically. He has not awoken to this higher nature, and so he represents the person who blindly follows modern-day religions and philosophies without any design of their own included for individuating within it. The irony of the Matrix is that anyone can be a slave, whether it is a machine or the human animal. Smith walks away and thinks it is over, but Neo arises and becomes the one at this very moment. All he ever had to do was realize his inner truth. In bewilderment, all three agents rapidly fire their guns at him, but Neo just stands there. Through his eyes we see that Neo now views the Matrix as it really is, an artificial world that is full of potential for injecting one's own personality into it. The Matrix is our world, right now today, and it is a place that Schopenhauer once called a will to power. He suggested in his paper, The World as Will and Representation, that the world is whatever we recognize within ourselves and make manifest through our will. This is Neo's moment of reality. He understands that he can be anything he wishes to be, and this is the real lesson of the first Matrix film for the viewers as well. Your potential is limitless. But first, you must see beyond the rules and the system. You must break past all the barriers of the you should do that and not do this ways of thought. You have to stop being a slave to the system in order to live out of the truth within you. As the bullets fly at Neo, he simply says, "No," and he holds out his hand and the bullets stop in midair. He no longer fears death, any of the attacks of the machines or the system, because he realizes he can, at least in some way, live his life in the way he wills it. The bullets are all symbols of the attacks of society's limiting viewpoints that come at us in our real lives, and this scene is simply asking, will you say yes or no to the system? Then Neo plucks a bullet out of the air and looks at it with wonder. This is the realization of death as illusion. After that he runs and jumps into Smith, the machine. This is a metaphor for jumping into the system and changing it from within. The system, or Agent Smith, explodes, and Neo is left there, having conquered that which earlier seemed indestructible. The Matrix is a deep story filled with these and many more metaphors for exploration. It is a timeless film that helps us confront our own lives, and shows us the value of not working to change the world, but rather, working to first change ourselves. And in so doing, our perception and interactions of the world do change it. We must, as Buddha taught, go within to experience the highest consciousness of all, to just simply be.